but I left to run away. Too proud to admit it, can't get over you. I thought I'd get better without you, but no. You come back to my way to go back and say I need you right now, but I still feel the same again. Through all the pain, it's easy for now, but I still feel the same. Yeah, I still feel the same. Yeah, I still feel this way. Yeah, I still feel the same. Yeah, I still feel the same. The people that know me say I haven't changed. Since I left you lonely, I've again to please me, bring back time again. I feel so ungrateful, I'm the only one to blame. You come back to my way to go back and say I need you right now, but I still feel the same. Oh no, it's easy for now, but I still feel the same. Yeah, I still feel the same. Yeah, I still feel this way. Yeah, I still feel the same. Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far. And just like the sunrise, you know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain.
my shadow turns to sun rays, and